What's up, humans? How do you recommend really retaining information that is learned? Really retaining, as opposed to short-term memory cramming, I am assuming. Well, there's some things that you can do. One is, it's called the spacing effect, but essentially when we work at something a little bit each day, then we tend to retain it a lot better than if you say cram. So studying something 5-10 minutes a day as opposed to a couple hours all at once, you're definitely going to retain information more that way. Make it more interesting and personally applicable. So tying the information to information that you already have or things that you already desire or are already doing or experiencing is going to make it easier to retain. What else can you do to retain information that is learned? I guess the other thing that I will say is sometimes focusing on skills as opposed to random facts is going to be a lot easier to retain. So when I teach people philosophy, for example, I teach them to think philosophically, not to memorize a bunch of names and dates of famous philosophers. Similarly, with psychology, I try to give people a more psychological lens from which to view the world, not, hey, so-and-so had such and such theory and blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff is going to be harder to retain. So if you focus on skills and you focus on lenses from which you see and experience the world, I think that stuff is going to be a lot easier to retain. So that's another trick you might keep up your sleeve as well. There's lots of memory tricks for those who are trying to, memorize a list or memorize a deck of cards, or it depends on what you're trying to learn here. But I'm gathering that we're talking more about, long-term learning and less about how do I remember, like I said, a deck of cards. So, but feel free to Google some of those other tricks if you like. There's some neat things that people do with their brains to remember a whole bunch of new names or things like that, for example. So, and oftentimes it involves tying images or multiple modalities to, one piece of information. But I think the advice that I've given you should be a great place to start if you can remember to do it. So appreciate you asking. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Like the video, keep it human, and I'll see you next time.